Me sisters, I'm Sister Andrea.
And I'm Sister Sydney.
And I'm Sister Akila.
And we're the MGT and GCC from London.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, what does MGT and GCC stand for? Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization Class. In this class, we learn the basics of civilization because we certainly believe that no nation can rise higher than its woman. We believe that the mother is the
First teacher.
the first teacher.
Right.
And so therefore the mother has to know certain basics and have some basic understanding of who she is. She has to know how to care for her children. She has to learn how to have a successful marriage. She has to understand the importance of a marriage. She has to understand how she can feed her family in order to get the best out of their health, their mental ability, everything. We need to know how to carry ourselves as females. You know, how to dress, how to give the right opinion of ourselves. So we learn all of these things in our class.
We do grow up too early, and this world almost encourages us and forces us to grow up into womanly things before our time, and that was one of the reasons why, you know, that it's almost like we had to take a step back. We were grown women, but our maturity wasn't grown in God's world, it was grown in this world, which isn't godly, is it? So, how to cook, you know, many of us, some of the foods that we learn to cook from even our own parents are not always the best of foods, you know, because we know if you grew up with pigtail and pig foot, cow foot, you know, that is slave food. That's not a good part of the animal, you know, even though the animal itself is not good. That's not a good part. So that just shows you about, as women, we do these girly things, you know, and this class helps us elevate ourselves into the women that we should be.
One of the things that I took out of that part about it being Muslim girls training is the fact that you have to humble yourself and take on a new teaching. You have to come like a child. You have to come as though you don't know, because as females we kind of, you know, we grow up, as you said, so young and think that we know everything.
That's right.
But you've got to kind of discard some of that and really just kind of calm down and take time and learn again. And so you have to be like a child. The child is open and willing to learn and grow, and we have to have that attitude. So it's an attitude. You know, when we talk about Muslim girls training, we're talking about that attitude of being open and young and knowing that you don't know everything.
That's right.
And so you're willing to learn something new.
And for me, Muslim girls training, it poses the questions, whose girls are we? We're God's children. And in the Bible it tells us, train a child in the way it must go. So Muslim girls in training, we're in a class now where God is training us in the way that he wants us to be and wants us to go out into the world and then bring more girls into the class and train them up. So that's what Muslim girls training means to me.
The wombs, we are the ones that are preparing the future inside of us. So it's important that we know the best way to raise them. At the moment, when we have concerns about what's happening in society, especially if you're a single mom, for example, they blame us as women, you know? So at least let us try and equip ourselves with the best qualities in order to produce the best generations that we can.
That the home is first our body, so we're learning about the foods that we're supposed to eat, foods we're supposed to avoid, and we're learning the science behind the foods that we are eating as well. It's not just about going out and getting carrots, because we know that the carrots that are out in the stores now are GMO and they're not good for us. So it's about getting organic things and not just running to Tesco, getting the cheapest bag. So now we're going to talk about the misconceptions of Islam. And I know personally, before I came into Islam, I had the stereotype that the women need to walk 5 steps behind the man. But I found that when I came into the Nation of Islam, the men are running to the door before I even got there. The men are running to the car before I even get there. They're opening the door for me. And when they get to the building, if they see me coming, they let me in first. So I was shocked. I was like, wow. I thought I would have to wait and the brothers go in. So that's the part of Islam that I love. The men uphold us and they uplift us to a high level, and that's just beautiful to me.
That's because they're following Islam, that's why.
One of the things that I noticed when I came in was that I saw that the brothers, for example, taking their lead from the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And when I look at the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan and how he exudes that love for the female and for his mother. You know, as a woman, you always look, you know, at a man and look at that relationship he has with his mother, and you can kind of see how he's going to treat you. And when you see that love for the mother, you know, okay, that there's something good there.
Something definitely right there.
When I came in and I learned that what a woman earns is for herself, and that men are to be the maintainers of the female, I was like, wow,
Different.
that's a different slant on everything, and that's really quite liberating as well.
Came into Islam, it was the minister that I saw, and he was surrounded by these sisters on stage, and I didn't know where it was, who these women were. And then when I heard him talking with such love about the female, you know, about how we've been so disrespected in our lives, how we have been treated so badly, and when he made me, and I was like, yeah, because you know, as women, we know how bad we've been treated by practically everyone, you know. And he talked about, you are so valuable, the future makers of nation, Allah, how God loves us so much, and about as the black woman, we are the original, you know, we are the Eves on this planet. So coming into Islam, we get to learn our value as females.
And one thing that I remember is that when it comes to learning about your value we've always thought was in, you know, the power of, you know, how we sway our hips and how beautiful we can look physically. But in coming into the class, we've learned that our value is actually in being our true selves. So our value is in getting in touch with our nature.
That's right.
We're taught that our nature comes from God. We're shaped in His image. He's the one, we have His stamp, or we should have His stamp.
Yes.
And so coming in and learning about that nature, which is really the knowledge of God, that's where our actual power and our value lies, when we're in tune with our true self. You know, we've heard that, you know, the teachings of Islam can be summed up in 6 words: accept your own and be yourself. So, you know, the more we go into that, you know, we get to understand really that our potential is limitless when we're actually in our true self.
We thank you for watching our video. There's going to be a part 2, so remember, leave your questions and comments. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, tweet us on Twitter at MGT GCC UK, and also find us on Facebook at MGT and GCC UK.
And remember, sisters, you are the righteous, you are the best, and you are powerful.